Before I moved to Australia, I thought I had a pretty decent idea of what to expect. After all, I've been with my Aussie wife for a couple of years. I tried a few things already, like Vegemite for example, and I liked it. So I was mentally just preparing for, hot weather, lovely beaches, and the occasional spider. How wrong I was. Of course I'm generalizing here, but what I didn't expect are these small little niche things that you see every day that completely threw me off. Shops I'd never heard of, foods that just don't exist back in the UK, and little details that just make this country not only unique, but completely different from where I'm originally from. But that's one of the reasons why I moved here. It's because it's different and I absolutely love it. So these are 12 Aussie items that I'd never heard of before until moving here. Let's get into it. G'day mate, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Sam, a British actor now living in Australia, and on this channel I take you inside Aussie life, exploring its culture, lifestyle, and everything that makes this country absolutely awesome. Before we get into this is just my personal experience living in Brisbane. You don't need me to tell you that Australia is a huge continent and each state varies. So the first one is fly screens on loads of the doors and windows here. In the UK, we only really get 2 to 3 months of proper summer, and even then I doubt a Queenslander would call it proper summer compared to what you get here. The UK summer's beautiful, but when we get hot, we'll just open the window in the door and there won't be any fly screen on it. And admittedly, loads of flies and wasps and bees, they just fly into your home, and it's not a good vibe. But in Australia, it's not uncommon to walk into someone's house and they'll have probably a fly screen on their back door, maybe their front door, and on their windows. And this is because it's a hot place in Queensland, at least. So it's nice to have the windows open. It's nice to, hear the birds and have the breeze coming in. But Australia has a lot of flies, right? And if you didn't have these fly screens, your house would be bombarded with them and it wouldn't be fun. I've even been told that's why Aussies shorten their words a lot more, because back in the day, back in the bush, you would have got lots of flies blown into your mouth if you said the words in proper English. And don't even get me started on mosquitoes. They're pretty brutal here. If you opened the window without a fly screen, you'd have so many mozzies in your home and you get eaten alive, so it just wouldn't be fun. Number 2 is massive tubs of Milo. Now, the only Milo I've actually ever tried is from Australia. In fact, I didn't even know Milo existed in the UK until I met my wife. She introduced me to Aussie Milo, tried it, loved it, then went back home to the UK and saw Milo in the shops and was like, oh, okay. But although I haven't tried the UK version, everyone says it's not as good. It's not as like malty and tasty and chocolatey. I love that it's got like basically a paint can lid, for industrial protection. And honestly, the Aussie way is to sometimes just eat a spoonful of it. At least like that's what my wife did when she was a kid. A little bit dry. Admittedly, I needed some milk with that, but it tastes amazing. Now, in the UK, if you want a comforting drink, you'll probably go for the Cadbury's hot chocolate. And while they do have that here, I think the go-to would be Milo here. That's what I would say from what I've seen. And the great thing about Milo is you can have it hot or cold, but the way my wife taught me how to eat it is you put a few dry scoops into a glass first, bit of cold milk, and then a few dry scoops on top, and you give it a really just light stir. And then you, with a teaspoon, kind of eat it like a dessert. You might be an Aussie who has never done that before and you might think it's terrible, but don't knock it until you try it. It is, in my books, the only way to eat Milo. And I guess that sounds weird because it's meant to be a drink, but absolutely delicious. By the way, if you're enjoying this, would you mind doing me a favor and just hitting the like button? It really helps to support my channel. Thank you. Number 3 is water fountains everywhere with dog bowls at the bottom. I'm a runner. I run every single day apart from Sundays, and I love running in Australia. And it's so handy to know that in Brisbane City, at least, I can go out and not bring my water bottle with me and not have that lugging me down, because there's water fountains everywhere. And a lot of Queenslanders call them bubblers, which I think is a great name for it. It makes me thirsty thinking about it, actually. What I love, that especially near the park next to me, a lot of the water fountains have a little doggy bowl at the bottom that you can fill up and then your dog can drink with you, which I just think is the best thing. They say that dogs are humans' best friends, so why can't you have a drink with your dog? Not alcohol, of course. But that brings me on to the next one. Drive-through bottle shops, otherwise known as drive-through liquor shops if you're from America. Now, honestly, I don't see a lot of these. Aussies seem to love them. So if you want the convenience of picking up your Friday night wine before you go to your friend's apartment, like that's the way to do it. Number 5 is TimTams. Now, when I was first introduced to a Tim Tam, I was like, oh, so it's just the Aussie equivalent of the British penguin biscuit. But then I tried it and I was like, oh, how wrong I was. Tim Tams are delicious. And I know I probably sound like I'm going for the very stereotypical Aussie things. Oh, Tim Tams, yeah, all the tourists are talking about Tim Tams. But they're actually on another level. They're so chocolatey and delicious. They come in lots of different flavors. And then my Aussie wife explained to me what a Tim Tam slam was, where you bite the end of it off, and then I think you bite the other end of it off, and you drink milk through it. Oh, amazing. Also, us Brits, we love dipping our bickies into our tea and into our milk. So yeah, I can fully get behind a Tim Tam slam. I tried the Murray River salted caramel Tim Tams, and they were limited edition at the time, so I don't know if they do them anymore. And they were unreal. Also guys, I was looking at my analytics the other day and I noticed that over 97% of you who regularly watch my content aren't actually subscribed yet. So if you could consider hitting that subscribe button below, that would mean a lot to me. Cheers. Number 6 is a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Now Bunnings is the famous hardware store here in Australia. Often for charity, there'll be a charity group outside of the Bunnings selling snags in bread. I got roasted in my last video for saying a snag is typically put in bread. A snag is Aussie word for a sausage, and at a sausage sizzle, you'll have your snags on the barbecue. The charity will cook them up for you, you pay them a few dollars, and they'll pop it in a singular white slice of bread for you, and you can put some sauces on them and some onions. Personally, haven't found a sausage sizzle that does a veggie option, but if anyone finds one in Queensland, let me know, I'll be there tomorrow. And once you've had your sausage sizzle, you can go into Bunnings, or you could do a bit of shopping in Bunnings, and then you could go get your sausage sizzle. Number 7 is fairy bread. Fairy bread looks like a 6-year-old's creation, but don't knock it until you try it. It's white bread with either butter or margarine, correct me if I'm wrong, and then you put, as I've been told by the Aussies here, the cheapest hundreds and thousands sprinkles that you can find in the supermarket. We also call them hundreds and thousands back in the UK, basically sugary little tiny pieces. You sprinkle that onto the buttered bread. What did I think when I tried it? It tastes like white bread with some margarine and some sprinkles on it. Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I wouldn't write home about it, just being honest, but Aussies swear by it, and it's the go-to party snack. So if you go to an Aussie party, you'll see lots of triangle sliced pieces of fairy bread, I hope, because in my opinion, the only way to slice bread is triangle, not squares. Yeah, it's just a great snack. Number 8 is public barbecues that actually work. This is awesome. Now, I don't want to be that Brit and stereotypes Aussies and say they love a barbecue, but it's just really nice to see when you go to a public park, there'll be these really big metal barbecues that you can actually use and cook your food on, and they're completely free to use. So if you get a group of mates together, if you're having a birthday party, or you just want to hang out with your family, you can go to one of these, and as long as they're not already taken up by someone else, you can cook your food on this public free barbecue. And I think that's just a nice touch, because that would never happen in the UK. In the UK, they would get graffitied, they would get trashed. Number 9 is Aussie only chocolate bars. Things like Cherry Ripe, Caramello Koala, which is essentially a Freddo Frog, but in the shape of a koala, obviously, and filled with delicious caramel. And Violet Crumble. Honestly, I've always wanted to try Violet Crumble. I met my wife, Maddie. She got us some, and I was like, yeah, this did not disappoint. However, controversial, I still prefer a British Cadbury's Crunchy. And the reason being is I find the Cadbury's UK chocolate just to be a bit more creamier, and it's what I grew up with at the end of the day, and I just prefer the honeycomb in it. But Caramello Koala is great. I've only tried Cherry Ripe once and don't really remember what it was like, honestly. Number 10 is beautiful smelling air. I found particularly in the springtime, as you would expect, the air smells amazing. I love going outdoors here in Australia because in Queensland the weather is almost always good unless we're getting Cyclone Alfred. Whenever I go back to the UK, I really miss the smell of the air in Australia when I'm out running in the UK and it's freezing. And hey, the UK also smells awesome. I would say mainly if you're in the countryside, which is where I'm from the Cotswolds, the smell of the grass and the trees and even the cows, which sounds weird, to me smells great, but Australia just feels more tropical and exotic to me. And that's just such a nice experience. Also, if you're enjoying this video, I think you'll absolutely love my free weekly newsletter. It's only a 3-minute read, and I deep dive into what it's like being in Aussie culture as a British person, as someone who's just moved here, and a few tips to improve your life as well. So if that sounds interesting, you can subscribe to that in one click using the link in the description below. Number 11 is massive cartons of milk that you can buy in the supermarkets here. We're talking like 3 or 4 litres. In the UK, what's the limit? Let me check. In the UK, we max out at 4 pints, which is about 2.72 litres. But here in Australia, you can get 3 or 4 litres. And that's where I see a sort of amalgamation between the UK and America here. Obviously, Australia is its own place, its own people. I get that. But I still see a mixture of British and American things here. And I think the massive cartons of milk feel very American to me. In the UK, our portion sizes are quite small. And our container sizes of foods and drinks that you buy in the UK are also relatively small as well. But here in the supermarkets, it's great because you can buy massive ones, which as a British person is quite exciting. Number 12 are the beeping pedestrian crossings. Now, I completely get why they do this. It helps people who are visually impaired know how much time they have to cross the road, but even without any impairments, it's helpful hearing the sound, knowing how much time you've got to cross the road. Now, admittedly, when I first heard this, I was sort of like, what is that sound? Is that a bird or something? But yeah, you realise it's the crossings, and it's a good reminder that you need to hear that sound and not jaywalk, because they will fine you if you jaywalk here. Back in the UK, you can jaywalk as much as you like, even if it's ridiculously dangerous. No one bats an eyelid. But here in Australia, nah, you're not allowed. So just avoid it for your own safety and your bank account. And if you enjoyed this video, I know you're absolutely gonna love this video here, all about the 11 things that you should never do in Australia. I had to learn these things the hard way. If you think there's anything else that I might not have heard of before, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to find out what they are. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. Have a bloody beautiful day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.